Hey everybody, Craig here, and I want to talk about something that God's been teaching me, and that's how to make the Bible alive and powerful. And how you do that is you read stories of miracles in the Bible in areas that you need breakthrough. So say you need, breakthrough in your finances, or then you read stories about breakthrough of finances in the Bible. And so this week I've had health problems, I've been sick, and so I just got reminded by the Holy Spirit today, hey, read stories of people being healed by Jesus. Tell your sickness about how great your God is. Remind sickness that, hey, my Jesus still heals. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Malachi 3:6 says, for I, the Lord, do not change. Hebrews 13:8, Jesus Christ same yesterday, today, and forever. And so it's like, hey, he doesn't change. He still heals. And so I opened up my Bible and I went to Mark. I love the Gospel of Mark. And the first story I read was when they went to Peter's house and his mom was sick with a fever in bed, and Jesus came and touched her, and the people left, and she got up. And so, one thing, when you read about a miracle in the Bible, you have to look at it and say, okay, what can I learn from this miracle? And so, from that one, is that she was laying in bed and she didn't even know Jesus was coming, and so someone else asked for prayer. So, it reminds me to ask people to pray for me, but it also reminds me to like ask people to pray for someone else. So my brother Grant is more sick than me right now, and so I've had like asked some friends to pray for me, and I've gotten better, even though I still have a sore throat today and a cough. But he's still like mostly in bed, and so it reminded me like, okay, I need to ask people to pray for him. So if you can, pray for my brother Grant because he's still sick, and it's been like a few days now. And then the next story I read in the Bible was the leper coming to Jesus and asking for to be healed. And so he had great faith. He went up to Jesus and knew Jesus could heal him. And he also broke protocols because someone who's a leper is supposed to stay away from everybody else. And then Jesus broke protocols because you weren't supposed to touch a leper because then you became defiled like them. You weren't allowed to touch them. Still getting better. Pray for me. But but Jesus touched the leopard. He had no fear, and the leopard was totally healed and cleansed. And so I was like, okay, what can I learn from that? And one of the things is don't be afraid of sickness. Like if you're supposed to go out and pray for people, and I'm someone that I feel like Jesus commissioned me to go out and pray for people. I can't be afraid if they have a sickness, whatever it is. Like doesn't matter how contagious it is. I can say no. Like greater is He that's in me than he that is in the world. And Jesus said like you're gonna lay your hands on the sick and they will recover. And I believe in Jesus and I believe in all His words. Like you can't believe in Jesus and say okay I believe in some of His words but not some of the stuff He said. No, you have to believe in everything He said. And so I believe everything He said. And He said you're gonna lay your hands on the sick and they will recover. So with me, it's like okay, I can't have fear of like putting my hands on someone and praying for them. And also, I can't be afraid of what other people are going to think. Like, if I need to pray for someone, it's more important for them to get healed than, like, my fear of what people think about me. Or my fear of, like, oh, am I doing something that, you know, I'm not used to doing, being uncomfortable. It's like, no, you have got to go out there and help people and not be afraid of, like, what does society think, what do my friends think. And then the third story I read today was the one of the lady that had the flow of blood for like was it 18 years, 12 years, and she just like she knew if she just got close to Jesus and just touched his clothes that she'd be healed, and she did that. She went and touched him and got healed, and that reminded me of last year when I had the last of my teeth removed. I had 9 teeth removed last November, and the recovery went really bad. And I was like 10 days, I was in bed, and if I got up and I sat in a chair, my head would spin. I was struggling to like use my phone and a screen, watch TV or anything. And so finally, I was like just determined, like, okay, I've just got to go to a healing service and just get in the room, because God's power is there, and I just get in the room, I'll get better. And so I did that, and I went to the healing service and I just sat in the back and I propped my head up against the back wall. And one of the people from my church came and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Nope, I'm not doing very good." And I sat like that all through worship. And then once the preacher started speaking, all of a sudden the power of God hit me, and all of a sudden all the dizziness and all that left, and all of a sudden I was felt great. And then I ended up pacing back and forth in the foyer because I had so much energy. And since then my recovery has been great. And so it's kind of a reminder, like, hey, if you have health problems, you can pursue your healing. And you can know, like, hey, God's going to be here. I just got to get in the room. I just got to touch, like the lady, I just got to touch him and I'll be healed. And so it's pretty, it's a good reminder for me that, like, even though I'm sick, like, just get in the room. Like, the healing power is in the room. Just get in the room. So, so I just want to teach you guys that today. And just like, hey, if you have a problem with, like, finances, I've been doing this a lot. Read about financial miracles. If you need, like, family members that need to be saved, read about family members being saved in the Bible because they're there. Like Zacchaeus gets saved, Rahab gets saved. Saul turns into Paul, Apostle Paul, and then if you need to get like a whole region saved, if you want to get like a city saved, that's in the Bible. Nineveh got saved, whole cities get saved. So whatever areas you're having, read about those miracles. And one that I've been having recently is strength. So I've been reading about people that have a lot of strength in the Bible, like Samson, and then reading about guys like Moses and Caleb and Joshua that had a lot of strength even though they were 80, to 120 years old, saying, okay, I'm going to get my strength back. I'm going to be strong again. So read about, areas in the Bible that you need miracles, and just tell yourself that, and build up your inner man, build up your spirit man to be strengthened. Reminder, you got this great big God, and he still does miracles, and everything he did in the Bible, he'll do for you. So, anyways, I hope that that like kind of renews you and encourages you today.